All right, greetings. Welcome back to Blackburn News, where everything is connected. How y'all doing? Welcome. Thanks for hanging out with me today and every day on the internets. We're live on YouTube, on Rockfin, and on Callin. I did get some after hours donations, tips, whatever you want to call them. Gwen Webb tipped me on YouTube. Thank you, Gwen Webb. And Kimberly Anderberg tipped me on Venmo. Thank you, Kimberly. I appreciate it. It is very warm today. Computer's up on ice blocks. And still everything is slow. I don't know. Well, William's not here in the call-in chat yet, so I wanted to address something that he sent me. Maybe I'll do that later. All right. Let's get into it. First of all, well, we'll start off with some political news. It's been revealed that there is an FBI investigation into Biden, bribery in Ukraine. Whoa, you don't say. I don't buy that Biden is going to win. I don't buy it. It is, you have to have some kind of, believability in your win. Like maybe he had believability in his win against Trump. He is completely out to lunch. He's under criminal investigation. He's clearly corrupt. He's clearly not a good person. His son is clearly not a good person. They're not good people. These are not good people. These are corrupt, terrible, terrible human beings who lie, cheat, and steal their way to power. And I think everybody is realizing, or coming to realize that. And I hope if you don't understand that, I hope that soon you will disabuse yourselves of that notion. Anyways, this is Christopher Wray confirming that Joe Biden is under criminal investigation for Ukrainian bribes by the U.S. attorney in Delaware. Oh, we'll play this as soon as I can get it on the screen.
Did Joe Biden take payments from Burisma or any other foreign companies as vice president, president, or private citizen Biden?
As you may know, there is an ongoing investigation being led by the U.S. Attorney in Delaware, Mr. Weiss, appointed by President Trump in the last administration, that our Baltimore field office is working with, and I would refer you to him as to what, if anything, can be shared.
So the president is under investigation.
I'm not going to confirm or speak to who is or isn't under investigation for what. I'm simply going to
tell you. So he's not under investigation?
I didn't say that either. By long-standing department policy and practice, I'm not going to be confirming or denying who is or isn't under investigation.
Did Joe Biden take?
Okay, that was very interesting. When he actually said that, I don't know if you noticed the two agents behind him when he said that he was under investigation. They both like immediately went, like looked to their right, looked at somebody like, whoa, what is he saying? Um, maybe, just maybe, just maybe there's a better person out there. But this is a very interesting video. Well, hold on one second. Well, let's stay with Biden. Or maybe I'll play this video at the end of the show, which is Revolutionary Blackout Network saying that Americans largely reject Bidenomics. Is there a Bidenomics? Man, there's so many things to talk about here, but this is an interesting. Hold on, somewhere in here. Video with RFK Jr. and Jordan Peterson. And I actually agree with what RFK is saying here, except for the part about climate change being solved by the free market. Okay. The free market is causing climate change. It cannot solve climate change because it is causing climate change. So that is a fundamental. But anyways, whatever. There were a whole lot of reactions to this, like people saying that, you know, RFK Jr. is in the wrong party and he's a climate denier. That's not what he said in this video. He didn't say, he wasn't denying climate change. He was saying that it's an instrument of control. It will be used as an instrument of control. That is true. That's actually correct. That is correct. You know, what other issue will be used as an instrument of control as the world falls apart? What is climate change, Alex, for 200? Yeah, but the fact that he said that the free market would solve it, I mean, on one hand, let's just listen to this and I'll talk a little more about it because he makes some good points.
I've seen the climate apocalypse use fear to induce something approximating the same kind of level of tyranny, as far as I'm concerned, that characterized the vaccine lockdown. So help me sort that out.
First of all, let me just say this about climate. I believe that carbon in the atmosphere and methane does increase warming. Look around, you can see it everywhere. Ice caps are melting, etc. The Greenland ice sheet. I spend a lot of time outdoors. I see over 69 years, I've seen the changes, and I've seen the mass migration of animals, of southern animals like black vultures, the northern increase in their ranges. I've kept track since I was a kid about when the leaves turns, and it's steadily moved up each year. And so I see that all of my senses are telling me that the warming is occurring. My opinion is basically, as I said, it's based on common sense. I agree 100% with you that this crisis is being used as a pretext for clamping down totalitarian controls the same way that the COVID crisis was. And it's the same people, it's intelligence agencies, it's the World Economic Forum, it's the Billionaires Boys Club at Davos, and it's the same kind of cabal of people who will use every crisis to stratify society toward, greater power for the super rich and greater power for the military, greater power for the intelligence apparatus, and less power for everybody else. A war on carbon is not going to solve the problem. If we don't have a habitat left at the end, my approach to energy is using free markets and not top-down control. We can recover what we had, but we just have to stay out of fear because that is the weapon of tyrants. If you like this video and you want to help me become...
I mean, I really don't have... I don't have a lot of critique. Remember that that's a good joke, Osama. That's pretty good. Yeah. So I agree with pretty much all he said. And remember that at one time, there is a video out there of Jordan Peterson being asked about climate change. And he said, and he knows climate change is real. So when if Jordan Peterson indicates that climate change is not real or is being overblown or any of that stuff, that he's going against his own belief system. He's doing that for clicks. He's doing that for likes. There was a time when he was asked, what do you think about climate change? And he said, it's such a huge, scary thing. I don't know that we do anything. We can't do anything about it. We're screwed. He basically just said, we're screwed. And that was, again, Jordan Peterson, correct. He knows exactly what's going on. Jordan Peterson knows exactly what's going on with climate change. Absolutely. So don't, if he's telling you he doesn't know or it's something different, he's going against things that he already knows and that he's already very aware of. So, anyways, I don't disagree with anything that he said in that video, except for at the end. But his point too about free markets, being actually free, I guess. Right? I mean, the free markets aren't actually free for the oil industry. The oil industry gets subsidies in order, they operate with a certain amount of protection and with a certain amount of help, right? In order to keep selling their product to people. The path is well greased for the oil companies, right? There's not a lot of resistance in their path to fortune, right? There's not a lot of regulations, blockades, and all. They're very little. If they were actually regulated the way they should be regulated, then it might be a little harder for them to operate, right? And so what he said at the end was also very correct. He said, if there's people that are profiting off of fossil fuels or profiting off of destroying the environment, it's because they're being not only allowed to do it, but probably encouraged to do it, and they're being protected while they're doing it. I mean, anyways, there are a lot of people just, thumbing their nose at this and saying like, I saw a lot of the climate change folks on Twitter, basically giving him a big verbal F you, whatever. And I was like, way to go, climate aware people. But, we live in interesting times and there's, emotions are high, and I get it. I get that emotions are high. I get the stakes are high. I get the anger and the frustration of people who are aware of what's going on with climate change. I totally get it. And what I don't get, this is what's interesting to me. I mean, you have, in 2023, you have probably the biggest signs ever that we have, kicked over some tipping points. That we are, on a really, horrible trajectory, that we, are on a point of no return, that we are, in runaway. There are all these signals pointing to a new climate regime that is not going to be very friendly to humans. So, what's amazing to me is that this is not a subject for discussion anywhere. Anywhere but in climate circles. But I mean, there's not a subject for discussion in, on alternative news channels, like anywhere, almost anybody I'm watching, anybody I'm paying attention to, nobody's going, well, God damn it, this is crazy what's happening with the weather, right? Like, no, this is insane what is going on with the ocean, the sea surface temperatures. This is insane what's going on with global temperatures. This is insane what's going on with ... fill in the blank. What we've been talking about for the, wall to wall for the last 6 months. The fact that nobody's even acknowledging that is rather wild to me. And that's frustrating and that's alarming. And maybe there's some kind of maybe there's some kind of 3D chess going on with that, right? 3D, 4D chess going on with the idea that, you know, nobody believes in science anymore. Nobody believes in what the powers that be are trying to tell them anymore. And that disbelief, that that lack of acknowledgement of what's going on with the climate, you know, not going in the right direction, which is more acknowledgement, which is more understanding, which is more awareness. It's going in the opposite direction. It's going into like, nah, that's not, no, this is stupid. And, you know, it's just a Klaus Schwab. And as you know, the fact that it's going in the other opposite direction, that you have liberal, mostly liberal alternative journalists, you know, who are very popular and very famous, saying like, well, you know, I don't know, I don't think I believe in this climate change thing anymore, just because it's the powerful people are talking about it, right? Which is, again, not a logical thing to say. That doesn't actually, that's not something that somebody who's thinking would say. That's somebody who has like limited juvenile thinking might say, well, it's just, you know, anything my parents say is wrong, right? My parents are stupid and they're just mean and everything they say is wrong, right? Like that's a juvenile way to think about things. Anyways, so you have it's going in the opposite direction. The awareness, the attention, the, you know, the fear, you know, the actual understanding of like, oh, we're in a really bad place, is going in the opposite direction. And that actually, what does that who does that play into the hands of? The people that want us to keep going on with business as usual. That actually helps them out. They get a little more time of like, hey, well, you know, let's keep on going. Let's keep this gravy train, you know, flowing. Come on. It's rather amazing. What did I hear? I was listening to, anybody listen to Sam Tripoli? He's interesting because he does a lot of like, I'm always intrigued by people who talk about conspiracy theories. I'm intrigued. It's interesting. He does a pretty good show. Anyways, he brought up the fact that, you know, they were talking about the fact that AA might have been at one time funded by the Rockefellers. And he was like, so am I supposed to think that they're bad because they were funded or the message was spread by the Rockefellers? Am I supposed to instantly think that they're bad? And he's like, I actually can't go with that because AA has done a lot of good for people. I was like, hey, there you go. There's a nuanced take. That's actually how you should think about climate change. Sam Tripoli or whoever else. I don't really know what his take is on climate change. I never hear him talking about it much. I'm just saying, just because the Rockefellers were behind something or were interested in something does not mean it is fake. It does not instantly mean it's fake or it's bad or it's wrong or it's, you know, a psyop. No, it's not. That's not what it means. They were into all kinds of things. Even if you want to say like they fund the military-industrial complex. Well, okay, the military-industrial complex is not good for human health and not good for planetary health. That doesn't mean it's fake. It actually exists. It's actually real. They actually have weapons and they actually kill people, right? So I don't know. And then I hear other people like bringing up the idea that, you know, the MK Ultra and, you know, all the Cultural Revolution of the 60s was all a big like psyop. And I'm like, no, that's bullshit. That's a bunch of bullshit because, you know, I'm sure they were all up in there. I'm sure MK Ultra and Tavistock and whoever else was all up in there trying to steer things in directions that they wanted to steer it. But the thing is people actually did resonate with peace. They did resonate with a sexual revolution. They did resonate with freedom. They did resonate with, you know, right? You know, casting off the shackles of like older days and older, you know, ways of thought. Like, yeah. And people resonate with a thing called wholeness, or that things are connected, right? That everything exists as a holism, right? I hear people trying to bring up the fact, oh, some guy, some Rhodes Scholar guy, came up with the name holism, so therefore indicating that possibly it's bad. No, it's not bad. Holism is actually a great idea. Holism is a thing. It's the idea that everything is connected. Okay, holism is the idea that everything is connected, and that everything, one thing has, every time something shifts, it has an effect on the whole, on everything else. That's actually, there's a fairly basic, physics model for that. And there's that's a basic theory that people can actually support, with data and evidence, like over and over and over again. So it's silliness to think that, anything that you want to paint as bad, you just say, well, like the Rockefellers were behind it, or, Club of Rome or whatever. Who cares whether the Vatican or the Rockefellers were, in league with the Club of Rome? Does that mean that their data and the evidence that they found were incorrect? It doesn't necessarily point to that. So it's fundamentally stupid. It's stupid. It's fundamentally effing stupid to say, like, well, just because somebody else over here says they believe in this thing, it's immediately fake. No, not necessarily. It's not a good way to go. It's not a good way to think. It's not a way to go down. You shouldn't go down that road, right? Anyways, discernment is key. So, and the discernment of RFK, after this long rant that I just did, the discernment of RFK is correct. The globe is warming, the planet is heating, and certain, shitty people want to use it for their interests. Well, no duh. Right? Like, that's not hard to figure out. And that's not like out of the realm of like, oh yeah, sure. Anyways, I thought it was an interesting video. I don't know. I also think that immediately slamming people because, for whatever they don't like, there's one thing you don't agree with them on, or they're famous, or lots of people know their name, or, this person has some kind of like power and cachet, so immediately they're just not to be trusted. I don't know about that. It's a little silly to me. And if somebody's really like telling the truth about quite a few things, if somebody has, really compelling things to say, for the most part, 80% of the time or 90% of the time, I'm going to generally give that person like a gold star. Like, hey, good for you. Good for you for speaking, truth to power on so many things. You're not correct about everything. Okay, that doesn't mean like I wipe out everything else that you said as meaningless. That would be also kind of a dumb way to think. That's not the way science works anyways. Science works on, percentages and like possibilities, right? Nuance. There's a lot of scientific studies that say, well, our tests indicate that there's a high probability that certain things are connected, right? Probability. They don't go false. It's not a fact check, right? A scientific study is never like a false or all the way true, 100% true. No, they usually go, well, there's data and evidence that have like indicators that, and we've gotten so many results, and we see, there are possibilities here, probabilities here. We have all this, data and graphs, and you spread it all out, and right. That's the way the world works. Shades of gray, nuance, probabilities, possibilities, percentages. Nothing is, children and narcissists have black and white think. False, true, all bad. You're a bad person, or you're totally good. You're the best, right? That's like nobody fucking thinks that way except for children and narcissists, okay? Like, you don't, come on, man. Like, grow the F up. But I see people on Twitter just going for it. Anyways. He's bad. He's so bad. Can't you guys see he's so bad? He's all the way bad. He's all the way good. He's the best. Like, come on, man. Anyways. This'll boil your blood, I think. This video here of this guy trying to run over Just Stop Oil protesters. From Leon Simons, please don't kill peaceful protesters for blocking your vehicle. You don't have to stay calm, but assault is illegal. Protesters don't like to have to do this either, but they are desperate because nothing has really worked over the last 40 years. Again, yes, please don't run people over with your cars because you're mad because they're blocking the road. Don't do that. It's wild. You see actually a lot of these videos coming out of England because UK is where most of the Just Stop Oil people are. So you see people in their cars just getting like super pissed about these people stopping the road. Wow, this dude is just like nuts. I saw a lot of comments saying like, well, this is just because it's because there's so many science deniers out there. I don't know. People get mad about having their way blocked when they're driving their car. I don't. You should definitely not react that way. I mean, if I was there, I don't know how I would react to that guy reacting to the way he did. I don't know that I would be as peaceful as those peaceful protesters. In fact, I know that I would not. Anyways. Yes, Gene, exactly. Exactly. If someone tried to run my friend over, I would hog tie him with the help of friends. Yeah, I would. There would be more than hog tying. But anyways, I'm just saying, don't do that. Don't do that. All right. So many things. Lots and lots and lots of flooding events. Oh, William, I was going to say, now that you're here, I looked at the directed energy weapon thing. I have to say, I did not find it. I don't know. I would have to do a little more research into it, but just from that page, I didn't really find it like super compelling. I didn't find it like, oh, it's locked in. That is a directed energy weapon. I did not. Yeah. Too much could have been done with just those videos to alter them, and I don't know. It wasn't convincing enough for me. Okay, William, you want to respond to that?
Hey, Kev, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Well, I put in a Substack link for. Did you ever hear of Mark Crispin Miller?
Sounds familiar.
Anyway, he's got a Substack. He was a former New York University professor in media and culture. He got let go for asking his students to look at both sides of every issue, believe it or not.
Okay.
Especially regarding masks during COVID, so he lost his job. But anyway, he's got a Substack, and there's a fella, he cites a forensic arborist, Robert Brame. Did you see that link? Or, which one I sent you? But, so that's in the live chat. You can check that out, and he covers it. Rather than us talk about it now, maybe you want to read through that and and see what you think and what evidence Robert Brame, the forensic arborist with photographic evidence, is presenting regarding the California wildfires. And there's, I believe there's another, I have to look further, where he actually goes to Canada and he's doing his work there, and he's coming back with a lot of questions. So anyway,
Well,
just thought I'd run that by.
okay, I'm looking at it, but I'm just saying. Hold on. I'm trying to look at it.
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
really see.
There's another site. I forget the lady's name.
I just don't. I don't see any pictures, so I'm not really sure what
Yeah.
it's pointing to.
Well, what happened was I cleared my clip tray and I heard you talking, so I'm throwing stuff in it. So there's another lady who actually shows a video where this forensic arborist is going to these sites, and so there's video footage. But give me a little time.
I mean,
I'll put that in the chat.
Okay, I've heard people talking about this, and that's cool. I would like to see more evidence.
Sure, that's all.
I just there were actual forests that were on fire there.
Oh, it's not saying that all the. Okay, hold on a second.
I think I know. They're saying that some of the houses are burned and cars are burned, but no forest around them is burned. Something like that.
As you said, it could be a combination of things. It could be some fires. Well, the issue is there's plastics in even cars and next to buildings that supposedly got so hot to melt glass. Microwave plastic holds up the microwave, but if you put aluminum foil in there, you're gonna have all kinds of problems, And so there's homes where aluminum melted, and there's a trash bin right outside the house, a plastic trash bin, for example. It's pretty physically impossible, or a swing set,
Right.
So, but I gotta go.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, I'd like to see it. I was looking at that one page you sent me, and I just was like, I don't know. It's like lights on just like some colors on a video. It's hard to verify that. I'm just saying it's hard to verify. It's hard.
Yeah, I did a little more research since, and of course, this is all about discussion. I'm not coming in hard saying this is it. And it doesn't mean that there aren't forest fires, regular forest fires. Do you know what I mean? I'm not dispelling that.
It's the same. Well, it's the same thing with the guy that was like commenting on the Ontario fires. They tried to make it seem like it was from like somebody at the college was saying this. But he was just using their page, right? He was reusing their footage on a certain, and kind of like, skewing it to what he wanted to say about it, basically. So it was kind of misrepresented. It was misrepresented when it was posted on Twitter. It was misrepresented as a meteorologist from this college. It wasn't a meteorologist from the college. It was some dude on YouTube who was a climate denier, right? Who does his whole shtick is this. And so I was like, all right, you guys misrepresented this video. So
yeah, that happens. But
yeah.
See, Mark Crispin Miller, hold on, you don't know anything about him. He's in his 70s. He's retired now. He was an NYU professor in media and culture. He encourages students to look at both assassination, Sandy Hook, everything.
I don't doubt. That's the thing is, like, I don't doubt that there are directed energy weapons. I totally believe that one. I mean, I don't doubt that there are, and that they don't have full control over it. Is it causing the fires? I don't know. There's like so many. I have a relative who worked in the California Conservation Corps, and the dying trees due to climate change is real in California, like very, very real. There are millions and millions and millions of dead and dying trees that the Conservation Corps and other groups are trying to like cut down these dead trees. And this is all over the Northwest, from Colorado to, through Montana, through Idaho, through Washington. There's a lot of trees dying due to the bark beetles and, just a different climate. So it's, it's a very dry, very, tinder-like place already. These fires that they're talking about happened, I don't know how many years ago. Like, what was it, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago?
Well,
they're talking about like the Paradise Fire and all those fires.
There was a Paradise Fire, but then there's more. This again, the forensic arborist is going to Canada and he's looking in. But let me say, hold on a second. I think you're perhaps perceiving I'm trying to dispel the idea that we don't have regular forest fires due to climate change.
No, I don't. I don't think so. I'm just saying. I think it's it's hard to know. It's hard to know. I'm interested in the information if it really looks like something else was happening. It would be interesting to me.
Well, there's some usual. I'll find the video that the forensic arborist did. I'll look for it, and it's a very usual footage where you have a house that burns so hot, which normally house fires don't burn hot enough to melt glass and aluminum, and then there's these plastic, trash bin or swing set right nearby, which they would have disappeared. Even a car where the glass is melted, but the dashboard is still intact. I mean, that's impossible. And they had saw that at 9/11 too, if you remember.
No, I know, and it's compelling. It is.
Yeah.
But I
So
don't know.
that's what I'm drawing from 9/11.
I think that's
and,
what a lot of people are trying
Judy
to
Woods.
like draw a parallel between those fires and that's fine. I just would need to see more to be convinced.
sure.
I would need to see more. Here's another. Hey William, I got to let you go because I got to get back to this. I only got about 15 minutes
Do it
left.
Friday. Is it Friday? We're gonna do it
Tomorrow's Friday. Yeah.
Oh, tomorrow. I'm sorry. One day blurs into another. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
The last thing I wanted to say is that so for something like a 9/11 or some other event, there are so many data points, like lots and lots of data points, right? There's all these points of evidence which kind of stack up, right? And build a story. Right. And that's why, these things are so, it's hard. Once you see it, it's hard not to unsee it. Right. Because there's lots and lots of data points and evidence. So it's just, it's not the same thing. I get why people would try to tie, a forest fire in or certain aspects of a fire in, with that. I get it. It's just that, one data point is not enough. It's not like we blew the lid off with this one thing. It's not enough. If you're going to blow the lid off, same with things going on with COVID and or with the vaccines or Wuhan or whatever. You have like kind of the stack up of data. It's not just like one story and that's it. It's over, done. We solved the case. Right? That's not how it works. You have like kind of a stacking of data points. You have like, well, there's a study from here. There's a study from here. There's a study from here. There's evidence from here. There's, all these things are starting to stack up to go like, oh, here's what the picture looks like because you have various data points. So one, I'm just saying, to bring up, and I'm not actually, I'm not talking about you specifically, William. I'm talking about other people who talk about, other people who are journalists who talk about like the same story. Like one story might be like, oh, that's interesting, but it's not a data point. It's not compelling enough to go like, you've blown the lid off the whole thing. No, you need actually more points of data. You need more stories stacking up. And here's another view from over here. Here's another person from over here. Here's another study from over here. Here's another view from over here. Here are pictures from over here. Here, right? You need like several data points in order to stack up a story. It's just kind of how it works, right? And that's why it's, to not think that climate change is real is a little silly because you have so many data points that stack up to tell you the story that like, well, yes, something is absolutely happening on the planet. It is absolutely warming. You can't dispel every data point with like, well, that happened a long time ago, or that's lasers or HARP or, okay, how many things do you need to stack up to dispel every single data point that tells you that climate change is happening? It's a little bit ridiculous. So in my mind, this is just how it works in my mind. That's all. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be. But in my mind, the thing that makes a story compelling, like more true than not true, is that you have several data points. You have several stories stacking up. You have data points from all different directions. You have witnesses and eyewitnesses and people's accounts and all kinds of different accounts and different viewpoints into this thing to tell you what the actual story is. And that, so I don't know. It's compelling when I hear people talk about this, but I'm just like, do you have more? Do you have more than one data point? And I'm interested to see what Mark Crispin Miller, I'm interested to see what he has to say about it. I will look at that link. But generally, the data points that tell you that climate change is not happening are just so threadbare, not really backed by much of anything. Mostly they're cherry picked, mostly, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Heavy rains hitting Japan. Oh, we're going to talk about, we've been talking about airline turbulence too. And there's a couple of stories of extreme weather getting in the way of people just enjoying their flight. Never before seen heavy rains are once again hitting Japan. Bihoro and eastern Hokkaido experienced an hourly rainfall of 3.7 inches. Or 93 millimeters, making it an all-time record. Bihoro's average monthly rainfall for July is 90 millimeters. A month's worth of rain in 1 hour. Yeah. And there's a lot of these. I actually have, every single day, these hold on. This is from Manali. I don't know exactly where Manali is, if anybody knows. So this is, again, crazy. It just seems to be everywhere. Crazy amounts of flooding and damage and destruction. Also in Russia, they're experiencing heavy flooding, heavy storms. Major flood in Tuapsinsky district of Krasnodar Krai, Russia. Everybody's just like, oh, damn. Massive damage. This is in Aguas Caliente, Hot Water, Mexico, is the name of the town. In Hot Water, Mexico. Aguas Caliente. Calientes. This is crazy flooding going on there. In South Florida, the water in Everglades National Park hit 98.1 Fahrenheit. That is rub-a-dub-dub. bathwater time. That's crazy. Let's see. So in Asheville, passengers injured on a flight from Asheville to St. Pete. Because of why? Turbulence. We were just talking about turbulence like yesterday. 4 people, yep, including 2 passengers and 2 flight attendants, were injured when a Florida-bound Allegiant Air flight encountered severe turbulence while flying from North Carolina to Florida. The Airbus 320 plane dropped about 5,000 feet in less than 2 minutes before landing normally at St. Pete Clearwater International Airport. The injured individuals were taken to a nearby hospital for evaluation. So get ready for that if you're a frequent flyer. And then more on canceled flights and canceled business as usual because of extreme weather. Again, this is just, it's hard to cover everything that's happening in one show on a given day. There's so much going on. A storm system spawned multiple tornadoes across the Chicago metro area on Wednesday evening, which prompted hundreds of passengers at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport to seek shelter. The twisters caused extensive damage to homes and businesses in Chicago. Anyways, just before 6:30 p.m. Central Time, the National Weather Service confirmed a large and extremely dangerous tornado touched down in Summit, Illinois, and was moving towards Chicago. Summit is located 10 miles southwest of downtown Chicago. And the tornado confirmed to touch down near the airport. And this is some of the damage. And here's oops, sorry guys, you couldn't see that. Whoops. Well, this is in the thumbnail, but this is some of the damage from the tornado touchdown. Wow, I wonder what's going on. All this crazy weather. It's so weird. I don't know if a tornado in Illinois is strange. Just tornadoes hit Chicago all that much, though? I don't know. All right, real quick. Best, directest ways to support the show. PayPal.me/Kevin Sandblum. Venmo at Kevin Sandblum. Cash App at Red Llama Music. BuyMeCoffee.com/Blackburn News. And I appreciate all the people that support. I am going to have to call it a show right about now, guys. I have to jump to my next destination. But thank you all for hanging out with me today. And I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, so we're going to do Friday Fix, a regular show, where, you know, it's a little more open. We'll be taking calls all day and whatnot. So 12 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, the regular time. I'll see you all tomorrow. And until next time, peace.